Hey guys, do like and subscribe. I forget to tell you guys that. I be feeling like you guys already know that, but I do forget. Sometimes people just don't know what to do until you tell them. That's how we live and learn. Even with the video I'm about to share. Um, 'Cause I have been triggered. I got triggered yesterday by a statement that I honestly used to agree on, and that is that love is blind. And it's like, love is not blind. I'm a movie person, and I was flicking through on Netflix looking for a movie to watch, and the title of the movie is what got me. It wasn't even a movie. I think it was just like a dating show or something like that, where people, I guess, blindly date or whatever. But I didn't really click on it to like figure it out. It's just the title of it got me like, hold on, what? Love is not blind, okay? It's not blind. It's like saying love is stupid. Love is not stupid. Love is clear as day, okay? Um, so I'm gonna just give some examples that I have learned personally from learning love through relationships that I have been in, or interactions you would say that I've been in with people that awoken me to what love is and how to recognize it, and it leads to go into being in love. But I'm gonna start off with, for me, I learned that I can recognize love in color. That's my latest behavior that I have, is definitely when it comes to a person I have dealt with, I recognize it in color. Um, no matter like where we're at, I can identify them by colors and numbers. Numbers I could do also, but I usually use numbers in the form where I can recognize presence that's around me. Um, I learned that from somebody else, though it wasn't in a relationship, but they had taught me about numerology, which got me into being more aware of my surroundings. Go back to the color aspect. What was I saying with the color? The color, it's just like how people say, I recognize your aura. Some people really do like see like beams of light, like, or they like really identify like in color of your clothes or lipstick or hair color. It's a communication form for them, but only love can do that. You would not recognize it if you didn't know love. Like, that's the only way. Um, I feel like I want to talk on being in love too at the same time, because it's different. It's like you have to learn first, and then you graduate, and then you're in love. If that makes sense. You'll be in alignment with it, but love is like, it's just a lesson, honestly. Um, that's why I don't feel bad even talk about people that I have had these experiences with that taught me myself. Because it's funny, because they never say you have to love yourself before you love somebody else, and that's, with me saying that, it comes off like that's what it is, like, or was or is, both, honestly. Um, there's just so many different ways to explain it. It's so intriguing. I feel like I've been so excited to make the video, honestly, today, because I've been triggered by it. Like, love is blind. What? You know how many signs I recognize in a day of love? It makes no sense. I thrive off love because it's signs everywhere of it. Like, you can't confuse love. You can try to manipulate it, but it's a waste of time. It's clear as day. And for me, I had learned within a spouse aspect, that I do translate for oneness energy. It's part of being in love. I can recognize my spouse in other people through colors. Like, they may have on certain colors that symbolize my spouse, if that makes sense, or they eat certain foods that symbolizes my spouse. It's just so many ways that connects love where it's not blind. But you can't fake and do it. You can't fake it. So that's the intriguing part. Like, even somebody hearing what I'm saying, they might put on a certain color to be like, oh, well, you like this color, or this color symbolizes love. It's not going to resonate the same. It's just not. It might just look good, or whatever. Even I'm gonna use my lipstick honestly as an example, because I thought about wearing red because like, oh, love is red, but at the same time I didn't want to confuse it with the root chakra, where it's just all about sex. People think love go hand in hand with sex, and it's like, no, it really doesn't. If you can't go without sex and still say you love somebody, then trust me, you're not. Love is not in that aspect. You are in infatuation stage. You're not in love. Lust, something of that nature. You're not. Love is not part of that category. I've definitely learned that if you can't go without your spouse, without seeing them, talking to them, you're never going to hit this aspect of recognizing these signs of love, to even be in love. And being in love it's eternal. You're never separating from it once you're in it. It's like learning something and thinking you can unlearn it. You're not unlearning what you already fell into. You just won't, which is beautiful to me, honestly. I mean, it drives me crazy sometimes, but the benefit of it is beautiful because, as I just said, I thrive off of it. That's my daily passion. It's what my behavior is all the time, is identifying love. And when it's a false flag of love, because, like, love is clear, yo. It's clear as day. Like, it's another example I want to give. I gave the colors, which is so funny because I think it was like 2 weeks ago or last week, I kept seeing rainbows appear on my floor, like where I stay at. And it's so intriguing because the blinds were closed. There was like no sunbeam coming through this way. But it kept appearing like for 3 days in a row. I think maybe even 4 actually. Eventually I realized where it was coming from. It was my bike. My bike got like a reflector thing like on the wheel. And the sun was reflecting on my bike, and somehow it was beaming in here, like, I guess from up under the blinds. But it wasn't like a line leading to it. It's just like in a certain place. It was like, because my bike is actually outside right now. I don't know if you can see it, but it's out there. But the blinds were closed, and it wasn't a beam of light. It's just like it was clear, and then you look up under the table, and it was right there. It was so intriguing. The first day I kind of ignored it a little bit. Then the second day, I'm like, it's there again. How intriguing. And I actually recorded it that day. And then the day after, the colors were separated. Like, there was a problem. And it's funny because my son came home and he told me about a problem. It's like, that's so intriguing. The color form really changed. Like, it looked like an actual rainbow on the floor, but then the colors had separated. Like, I think the orange and the red one was standing out the most, but it was like more of an orange color that was in the middle, but it was separated, which is identifying there's a problem. And my son came home and told me about something that happened at his school that was a problem. It was like, that's so intriguing how that played out like that. Which really made me more excited about the color aspect, because that's just ways that you identify when something is wrong. Colors never freaking lie, yo. It just don't. My nose is tingling. Why is my nose tingling? It's like I gotta dig in my nose. I'm not digging in there. It's a tingle going on. But it's not bad to dig in your nose. It's like, it's your nose, but people feel a certain type of ways when you're doing it in this aspect. It's like, the heck, my nose tingling. I'm not gonna make this video too long. It's just I had to speak on that aspect because love is not blind. You can't fool love. You just can't. You can learn what love is and enjoy it, but you can't fool love. Love is not blind. Oh, I did say that. I said that I used to believe in that saying, like, oh, love is blind, but it comes in a form when I was saying that as into loving whoever you want to love, like, you like the same sex, you like the same sex, if you like skinny people, you like what you like. I was saying it in that form of way. That's where my level of awareness was at that time. But as I has ascended, like, see, that's what love do. Love ascends you. If you're not evolving, you're not you're not in love. You're not in love. You don't know what love is. Because love will do that to you. But it's funny because you have to go through some pain. Pain is definitely a part of that. And it takes separation on top of that. Separation and pain, which is kind of one of the same, but it takes those aspects to evolve and ascend in love. If you don't ever feel pain or separation, you're never going to know love. And a lot of people, as I said, they're not going to get to that level because they can't ever be separated from people that they care about. And I don't mean just a week, a day. I mean some months. You know, you got to take some time apart. One, to even get a connection, if you can get the connection, because most, as I keep saying, people won't get there because they can't deal with that separation aspect. Separation is like, no, if I'm not seeing you or talking to you, you must be talking to somebody else, and that ain't no bueno for me. But it's not that. It's just, it helps you learn to connect. You will recognize them still. You will recognize their energy still. Love is everywhere. Everywhere. I feel like I'm wandering off in this conversation, but it's something else I stumbled across recently when it comes to relationships. It was in a topic, though, of they were speaking on black relationships, which I actually touched on that recently. For myself personally, wondering if I even should be with a black person. Would I end up with a black person? And I said within that video, I don't think that I'm meant to be with a black person because it might be too much of a toxic situation. My baggage that I come with, or they may feel like it's baggage, it may be too much for them to deal with. And the way I explained it in that video is, I'm a tarot reader. I am a natural empath. I naturally feel energy. That is my work. But in that aspect, the person that I'm meant to be with, my husband, he will realize I grow with my family. We build together. It's like our American dream is that way, where I don't literally have to leave out the house to do a 9 to 5. It's like my family is my 9 to 5, which is like a 24-hour aspect, nonstop. But a lot of people don't understand that aspect. I have realized there's some that do, but the ones that I stumble across, it's like, I don't understand that. Where the money at, you know? But it's like, we are the damn money, you know? But wrong people, of course, they're not gonna understand it. It just seemed too real to be true. But I do see that black on black relationships seem not to last so much, you know? And I really do wonder why, honestly. And it do come to be a financial situation, honestly. On top of, you know, insecurities and things like that. Everybody have it. That's why I don't want to just put it in that aspect. It do come to be a financial situation, honestly, to me. But a video that I watched of somebody, because I recently have went and accepted some friend requests, and I have added some people onto my journey. And I found somebody on one of the people pages that I think I went and found. It was, what's his name? Oh my God, I can't think of his name. It's so funny. I went to school with him. Oh my God, it's so weird. I can't think of his name right now. It's like his face just popped up in my head, but I can't think of his name. That's so weird and funny at the same time. But he does music or whatever. He's an inspiring musician. He's been doing it for the longest. Even when we was in school, I remember him on a singing journey. He always inspired to be a singer. He's still on that same journey. He seemed like he's doing good, honestly. Calvert, oh my God, I can't think his name right now. His last name is Davis, but anywho, he had on there about black relationships. Now that was so intriguing. They were speaking of being submissive and how a lot of females have a hard time being submissive. And for me, that's what I love and thrive to do. It's like my favorite thing to do is to be submissive. But Of course, you're not going to be submissive to somebody you're not supposed to be submissive with. It's not going to flow, you know. And as I was watching the video and the guy was explaining his perspective on the submissive behavior that is expected out of a female, there was like a group of people in there and they started putting the camera on other people. And the females, as he was saying it, they were looking like, I think not, be submissive. You know, it's like, why do you feel that way? You know, like, what is the problem with following, you know, when it's the right journey? You know, y'all going the same direction, you know. If y'all not going the same direction, of course you come, with the fooleries, you know, like, I think not. I'm going to go that way. But being submissive, it's a natural behavior where you want to follow them. You know that they're going to lead you in the right direction, not going to steer you wrong. In myself, I have an example that I can give because, as I said, I naturally thrive in that way. I know I'm supposed to be submissive. Definitely when I build with my family, of course, I'm supposed to listen to my husband, you know, or spouse, I should say, but my spouse will be my husband. Of course, I'm going to listen to him. Like, why wouldn't I? Like, he's supposed to know which way to go. And if he don't, I should know, you know. And if we both just clueless, then it's probably the wrong direction from my perspective of it. And on the example that I'm going to give, I was talking to a guy. I got to explain myself first. Me by myself, I navigate beautifully. I swear I do. Like, just getting around by direction aspect. If I use GPS, I get confused. Like, I get lost, literally. And in this example, it was the same aspect. I expected the person that I was talking to be able to lead the way, and he wasn't able to. And it had me really so confused because I really felt so lost because my guard went down. I normally operate off of spiritual guidance where they literally guide me all the directions and ways that I need to. They help me ascend spiritually. But when I backed myself up, it pretty much, it makes me think of marriage, you know. That's the funny part. As I'm saying it, like, I'm seeing like an altar, and you coming forth and saying you found your person. They're like, okay, you know, y'all go ahead, you know, and if you need me, I'm right here, you know. And this was that energy I was into. I found somebody, so my guard went down, and I expected them to know how to lead the way, and they didn't. And they was looking at me crazy, like, why are you so confused? Like, how you don't know how to navigate? I expected you to know how to navigate. You know, so it was a confusing situation, but that did teach me as into, until you're loved, you know, you have spiritual guidance. Once I get love, it's like, they are supposed to know the way, and if they don't, I should. One of us should know how to go. And I was so amazed at that because I was like, I never experienced that before in my life. To literally be so confused. I'm like, where to go? Because I navigate by myself beautifully. I'm like a natural GPS myself. And this is just with directions, you know. It wasn't like, it was just directions. For me in my head, it's like a starting point. You know, like, where are we going? You don't know. You expect me to know, but I thought you would know. Like, oh boy, starting point is just whoa. You know? Because I do expect for a guy to lead the way for me, honestly. Even though it seems like I already have all the tools, because I naturally navigate and thrive very well on my own. I just know that I'm meant to be connected to somebody else. I'm meant to be married. Like, I keep getting signs of it, and I just know it. I'm already pretty much doing it with my own child that I have now. Like, a lot of the work that I have done has been in the dark energy, and it do concern my son. And I have been building, but it just get better when, you know, it's more all of the spiritual aspect the way it's supposed to be, if that makes sense. Not just that I'm awoken, I'm the spiritual one, and I'm dealing with unbelieving aspects. You're not going to get far as you need to, because you can't have lies in oneness. You don't have confusion in oneness. I want to say you don't have lust and vulnerability either, you know. You just thrive. And that's just what I'm seeking and I'm excited by, honestly. Um, you should just thrive. You do, like, you grow. Love makes you grow. And it's funny because right before I started recording this video, I was thinking of a saying that I said when I was explaining the guys that I have dealt with that I'm connected to spiritually. And the behavior that I started doing once I started interacting with him, like I literally began to bloom, like on the outside. Like even with the way I was looking and dressing, people would say it was an improvement. I would even say it was an improvement. Like I'm blooming. What the world? Like why am I looking all girly? Like not. I hate to use that stereotype. I really do. Cause like there's guys that look like girls, and there is some girls that look like boys. You know, but it's like who said that? That's just the way that a boy look or a way that a girl's supposed to look. You know, like definitely when it comes to a clothes look, um, it's just what they like to wear. Apparently, my legs are starting to hurt. I'm sitting a certain type of way. I like my little pants. I got my skull pant on, and my little spooky socks. The skulls on it with the moon on it. But kind of forgot what I was just saying. Got a little distracted. My legs started hurting. I really just forgot what I was saying. Oh, this was amazing to me. The quick improvements that happened in that aspect. When energy is just in alignment with each other, and that's what that's about. It's an alignment. Because like it's no matter where he's at, if I'm not talking to him, I could tell you what he's doing. Because I could watch it in a movie. I can recognize it by the weather. You know, there's so many different ways to recognize love. And that word get used in so many intriguing ways. Because like, just because you love somebody don't mean you have to be with them or, you know, in a relationship with them. It's like a lesson, honestly. It's the only way I can really explain it. But that's just an example of blooming, honestly. And I said love blooms you. It does, but it is, in that aspect, it was an alignment. Because we weren't having sex. We hardly was talking to each other. I say it was more of an infatuation that I had with him. Which I actually want to talk on that a little bit more really quick, just because when I explained it recently, I said, I can't believe the things that I used to let him do to me. But I made it seem like it's just all a sex-based aspect. It's like it just wasn't sex, you know. We hardly ever really had sex, honestly. But when we did, it was intriguing. In that aspect, I can just say I learned that we are like Bluetooths. Like, pair, receive, you know. Like, I was literally speaking whatever was getting transferred, you know. And that really blew my mind. You know, like, whoa. And the way he responded back was so quickly, like a Bluetooth. It was intriguing because I always speak of transferring of energy. I speak on it a lot. And, you know, that's why it's important to be careful with who you having sex with, because you do transfer energy to each other, whether you're aware of it or not. And that comes with trauma. And everybody has trauma, but some people are unaware of their trauma. They're not aware of things that they've been through when they were younger or in their generation that came before them. Like, you carry on a whole bloodline, and it happens when you Bluetooth yourself. That's so funny. That's a new expression that I just came up with. It's just what I think of, you know. That's a new expression. It's true, though, but that's that aspect, because I did speak of sex a lot. It's like, I had other lessons too, other than just sex, but that is an important one, because I do speak of transferring of energy during sex and why. Don't play in it, because you may start having side effects that you don't like because you took on that aspect, you know. I feel like to speak on that too. Insecurities. Also, you might start becoming an insecure person, or, you know, more vulnerable, because it's that energy. Or they might be with somebody else and you picking up that energy of that other person that they're with. You know, it gets deep, you know, but it's the gamble of life that you chose to do when you chose to pair yourself like a Bluetooth. And I have recognized that within myself, people that I have had intercourse with, still being able to pick up side effects of people that they probably are with or was with before they got with me. And just learning how to balance that all out, honestly, I believe that's even why my energy and spirit guides are leading me now to cleanse myself, because there is toxic people out here. And I have been in a drainful energy for like the past year, honestly, where it's uncontrollable. It is uncontrollable. Like, all I do is sleep. And I'm 1,000% sure it's because of somebody that I had intercourse with, and the person that they're with, whatever they're doing now, is draining me. They probably with too many people. They spread me too much. I hate to laugh, but it's a real true statement, and it is draining me. So I have to cleanse myself out, because it gets to be too much. But I have realized I got heart problems. You know, my heart don't operate so well. But it's like, are you surprised? You know, you're being spreaded like a wildfire. You know, and that's a true statement. Honestly, I don't want to talk too much in it, but it's a true statement. But it's so intriguing seeing my energy in somebody, and they deny it, but I recognize it through a color aspect. Or I can even recognize my spouse or the person that I dealt with in them. Like, they behave just like them. Like, what type of food are you trying to play with me? You gonna tell me that you are not with my spouse, but you are displaying them like looking in a goddamn mirror? It's the weirdest thing ever. But in the more comforting aspect, think about it as in donating blood. Which, that's so funny, because the person that I'm speaking on, when it comes to that, he used to tell me all the time that he donated blood. And I'm just like, oh, that's nice, but that's all he seemed like he ever did was donate blood. Like, what you doing today? Oh, going to donate blood. Like, well, thank you for letting me know you just a cheating machine, you know, but in a more gentle way. You're saving lives, awakening people, involving people, you know. But it is scary once you see your energy in somebody and they just totally deny it. It's the weirdest thing ever. It's weird and it's crazy for me personally, but it's nice to know that that's possible. Honestly, it gives me hope for my new foundation that I'm seeking, you know, because it can be a whole spiritual base like that, and it makes me happy. But it is scary when it's done wrong, you know. It just is. It's like, the what? How? Forgot what I was saying a little bit. Oh, I want to talk about this other person, Mr. Leafs, really quick. When it came to things that I used to let him do to me, that I would never ever think that I would let a person do in my whole life to me, you know, like, and not wanting to kill them on sight, you know, like, I really did not mind. He had a habit of talking to people in front of me. He had a habit of doing it, and it blows my mind when I think about it now, but not in a bad way. It gives me more comfort for something that I speak on a lot, as to how do you want to join a foundation? You know, I would not mind, and I probably feel like I probably will be a person that joins into somebody else's relationship, because it would help me start a family form, if that makes sense. Even if I just have a husband, I will join into his family, because I don't have that on my own. Or even speaking of, you know, polygamy, things of that nature. Like, you can't be insecure. You cannot be one of them people who get to feel a certain type of way when you see your spouse with somebody else. You know, you should still be in a comfortable form, you know, a loving form, not on defense form. And I feel like that was a lesson that I went through with him, because I was so amazed as to how I could watch him with somebody and not care or totally forget. Like, the first time it happened was, I feel like we're in story time, but it's okay. It's all a love base. It's all learning. So if you want, enjoy. But if you want, enjoy. If you already finished up to this, like, almost half an hour, then it's okay. But I met him in a job site, and we were talking, but eventually I realized he was talking to somebody else at the job too. And eventually they start sitting together and stuff, or I would see them out and about together. And it did not phase me in one form of a way. Like, it did not phase me. Like, I really did not care. It was just more of, I would look at him and be like, dude, what are you doing? I don't even care. You're being weird, or like, be more affectionate with her, like, I don't care. Like, I wouldn't have mind watching him do that with somebody else, is what I'm getting at. And it amazed me. Like, I would have never thought I would be able to behave in that form of a way. Like, because I do love this person, And to watch somebody that you love interact with somebody else, I would have thought I would have strangled them both on sight, honestly. Or at least him, because I give the girls sympathy, or the other person, the victim, sympathy, because, like, at the end of the day, there's no telling what they are telling this person, which in his case, he told the female, I was stalking him, I was crazy. And it's like, one, if she believed that, she's a fool, because I pays him hardly any attention, like, I don't care what he do, we got what we got, and y'all got what y'all got. I'm not worried about that, but it just is weird, because what I just sat there and said as to, you never know what the heck the guy is telling the other female, even though he really into me, because I would say he cared a lot for me. It's just things that was going on in my life maybe pushed him away. He thought I would be something else, but I was distracted by things that was going on, so I came off kind of standoffish. And I guess he really just needed that type of attention that I wasn't able to give at that time. But I would say that he really liked me, honestly. But he was telling her that I was a fucking stalker. Once me and the girl actually talked, she was like, he said that you was a stalker. I think I probably laughed just like I just did now. Because it's like, whoa, what? Do you not see how I behave? When I see y'all two together, do I look like what are you guys doing? Or, I let that man be. What makes you think that I'm stalking him, Like, that's weird, But I would never thought that I would have been able to just not really care. And actually, to an extent, enjoy it. Or I would actually spend quality time with him, the time that we got to spend together. And the whole time, he'd be on the phone texting somebody else. And I'm 1,000% sure it was a female he was texting. And I did not care. I didn't care. Like, thinking about it just drives me insane, but not in a bad way. It's just, it really has shown me how much I have grown and how much what I'm seeking is really for me. Because it's like, how would I be able to get what I'm seeking if I have insecurities in this form of a way? It wouldn't balance out, honestly. I feel like someone would say, I'm talking to people in front of me or just texting females, But we did have open conversations about him even being with other people, which, for me, I personally enjoy that, and I appreciate him for doing that, because it takes a lot of vulnerability to be open with somebody that you care about. Somebody that you care about other sexual activities you're having with other people. And I just was amazed, honestly. It caught me off guard, because I wasn't expecting him to be so vulnerable with his display as to how he just be video chatting females and the behavior that they be doing while they video chatting. Like, they be doing what? He be having them wild out during video time. And it's like, how intriguing, Like, and in that aspect, I did feel a certain type of way. I'm not even going to lie. That did trigger me. It's like, I would like to be video chatted sometime too. Like, why you ever video chat me? Now you want to get all jealous, huh? But that did trigger me. It's like, what the foolery, Like, cause we hardly got to see each other. That's what I'm getting at. Like, we only see each other when we went to work, and outside of that, we didn't really talk. So to hear that he was video chatting somebody, I was like, dude, what about me? And I did get in my feelings about that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, I got in my feelings about that. But the times that he did, if this is another aspect that I have learned. Sometimes guys want to see you at your worst moment, if that makes sense. They want to catch you at the vulnerable moments, and I didn't let him catch me at those moments. If like he video chatted me and I just woke up and I know I probably got sleep in my eyes or something, I'm not answering that phone, yo. Like I look crazy right now. But I realized he wanted to see that part. Me not knowing better, or just me not knowing better, you know. It's like if this is the person I'm gonna be with for the rest of my life, they gonna see this part eventually. What am I hiding this part for? It don't make sense, you know. Their moms will see what the hell they're gonna be waking up to. You know, so I thought about it later on, like he wanted to see those doggone parts, and that's what I meant when I sat there and said he wanted something out of me at that time that I wasn't able to give. Y'all had too much going on. That's why now, once my mind is more clearer, I have more clarity about things that were happening then and what was expected. It's like I didn't think about that part. It's just like in my mind, like, why would you want to see me like this, yo? And on top of that, I was staying in a shelter, you know, so can't be having too much video situations going on and things like that. But I'm sure I could have found a way to do certain things, you know. But as I just sit there and said, I knew I was probably looking crazy. And it's like, I think you're not about to see me in this form, not today. So I wouldn't answer the phone. But it's like, but you get upset when I go and video chat somebody else who don't give a fuck what I'm looking like, or, you know. So that's one of those lessons learned, you know, when somebody is attempting to invest time in you, you should take it, you know. I'm not being a sucker for him, but it's like he did reach out in forms of wanting to see me. And I would ignore the phone call. I would ignore the video chat because probably was looking crazy, you know. And it's early in the morning. That's why I said I probably had sleep in my eyes and everything, looking wild, you know. Wig off and everything, you know. And during that time, I wasn't having my hair braided. Like, my hair is braided right now, but even when I have my real hair, just my real hair, my natural hair, I normally have it braided. And to know that I probably didn't have it braided, my hair probably was sticking all up over the place, looking like I got electrocuted. You know, you want to good morning me on video chat time? I think not today. But I don't know, now it made me feel like insecure behavior. I guess I had insecure behavior happening at that time. You know, I want to say vulnerable insecurity behavior happening at that moment, which is kind of funny for me to say. Cause like, how do you love yourself as much as you do, and you got them insecurity behaviors? I don't know. I probably in that aspect, just from this example, it's probably by knowing that he talked to other people. He already known that I'm super gorgeous. And then him catching me on a mode where I'm not looking all gorgeous. Maybe just like, nope, you only gonna know me of being gorgeous. That's the only way you gonna ever be able to see me is on gorgeous mode. So I probably let his behavior that I said I didn't care about interfere with my natural behavior, because I don't really care about the way my hair is looking nowadays. I really don't, for the most part. I love wearing my natural hair. You probably will see me majority of the time in my natural hair. I don't hardly really wear my wig. If I don't have my wig on, I probably got my hair braided. I love having my hair braided, but I do prefer my natural hair, honestly. So it's a stage like you really need to understand and see me in that look. And if you don't like my natural look, then you probably wouldn't like me if you're just an outside viewer, because there's times where I don't have my braids in or my wig, and I am rocking my real hair because I like my hair a lot. It's just sometimes, you know, right now I'm using these extensions, these feathers, as a protection for them. I am working on growing my hair for a certain look that I want of a style. Cause I just like my hair at the top long, and the back of my hair is like in a fade look. I like that look, but I do want my ponytail to be all on flourish mode. So yeah, that's that aspect of a lesson that I didn't even think I was gonna talk about, but I did think about it recently. I said, why I didn't speak on that aspect? You know, last time I talked about him, this made it seem like it's just all about sex, but it's like I learned a lot from him, honestly. that was beneficial. It seemed like a painful situation, it kind of did to an extent still, but it's like learning sometimes ain't the funnest. Love is sometimes not the funnest thing to do, but it's the most beneficial thing to do, if that makes sense. And it's in a love form. If I didn't love him, I wouldn't recognize it. And I have to use my ex as an example because this is another aspect that gets a little tricky sometimes for people. I don't love my ex. I appreciate him, but I don't love him. It's hard to love somebody who lies to you and want to disvalue your values. Like, I'm a very spiritual person, and a person who looks at me and don't respect my values when it comes to my spirituality, which will help us grow and evolve and ascend, how do you love that? You know, that's weird to me. I appreciate him because he allowed me to stay with him. You know, we still cope and operate together, but I don't confuse it with love. You know, I can recognize my love aspects in him, but it's based off other people that I have dealt with that he dealt with too, which make the game all confusion and all over the place. But even in that aspect, it's the recognition of it, to recognize love. Love is everywhere. You know, even if it's in places where you wouldn't expect it. That's how I look at that aspect, but I don't love my ex. And that's the reason why, you know. And some people say, you know, you're supposed to love everybody. I don't believe that's a true statement. You know, you can appreciate them. There's probably other words you can use, but if you're not evolving and ascending, like, it's not love, yo. It's just not. Like, if anything, in that aspect, when I use my ex example, he attempts to bring me down majority of the time. Like, it seems like that's his goal. It's like his job. I hate to even say job, but it's this saying that I heard before, as into there's people who are meant to keep you from ascending. It seems like his energy is that. Like, he tries hard to keep me down this way, you know. Which for me is beneficial too, because like, dude, you're not gonna catch me slipping, quit playing with me, you know. You just better follow along. And that's how I talk to him, because like, I never be wrong, and he know I never be wrong, but he always try to discredit me or make me feel like I'm a narcissist or something. Like, he recently called me a narcissist, and I was appalled, because like, I'm always correcting myself, yo. I do not mind putting myself on display and saying if I did something wrong or not, or even checking myself, because nobody else, for the most part, that I'm physically connected to will check me, you know, as to that was wrong, or, you know, why you say it that way, or whatever. So I do it to myself majority of the time, and to have somebody say that to me is like, what? I think not, you know. But I do believe we all have those type of aspects to it. But it's like, me, no, that's a weird word to even use for me, but yeah. This video been kind of long. I hope y'all got the point of what I'm getting at and ways to be able to recognize love. And even if you want to attempt to do it on your own, because there's some people who just don't believe in love, honestly. It's like, maybe you're going about it in the wrong way. Because you don't have to be in a relationship to be able to learn it. See, that sounds a little tricky to say. How do you say, friendships, separation, even within like a dating aspect, taking time apart really does the trick for you. Trust me, it does it for you. If you're working on self-love, because you're going to learn self-love being apart. Trust me, you're going to learn it. I'm going to give an example that I even started off with. Texting yourself. I have found people who text themselves a lot. Love is having you do that. You're connected to love. You are on that frequency of love. Love is what's communicating with you. And the best way I can describe that as into people be like, when you're looking at the moon, there's somebody else on the other side looking at the moon too. That gets so deep, honestly. I thought about it before as into, Who are you talking to? There's somebody probably doing the same thing as you, but y'all opposite sides. Now, will y'all ever come into alignment where y'all physically come together? Because y'all might be on two different frequencies, honestly. And when I say that, it's kind of confusion. I gotta think about it really quick. It's important. I gotta think for a minute, because I feel like that's a true statement. Because like it's finding who you're meant to be with. Like y'all already communicating, but it's from a distance. But somehow y'all on different frequencies. There's some lessons that somebody ain't learned yet, and hopefully they learn it. Or y'all, I hate to say, y'all may never come into that alignment where y'all actually physically come together. At least not in this lifetime. Maybe next lifetime it'll happen. I feel like there's a lot of that happening right now. Definitely with the portal we just went through. People level of awarenesses are on enhanced mode, because before the portal even came, we had a lot of full moon displays, back to back to back to back. The moon was out a lot before we had that 11/11 portal. So there's a lot of more clear energy happening right now. And alignment is really important, because as I explained, that 11/11 portal is a here realm and an after realm. It's those two energies together. So if you have made it through that, you understand what I mean when I say love is clear. You're in a love energy, a frequency. Like, you will find it any and everywhere. Any and everywhere. I feel like I want to get so more into detail about it. It's only way I can explain it, honestly. It's any and everywhere. And it's funny because this tree is catching my attention in the background. And the leaves are off the tree. We're entering into winter time where I'm at the moment. And when I picked up this energy before I did it in the translation, it came to me. It was saying all the leaves were off the tree. And at that time, the leaves were not supposed to be coming off that tree. That's a family dying aspect. But they're on the other side. For some people, when I speak of that portal, you may be connecting with your loved ones on the eternal side. They're still there, but they're greeting you. That's that aspect. It's funny that you're on the right hand of the Father. That's that aspect. You keep catching my attention. That's funny. Comforting too at the same time. But it's them. That's who you're communicating with. It's people on the other side. You are in that energy of oneness where there's not a separation from the reality or dimension that you're in now and the dimension that they're in, whatever energy the after is in. They keep catching my attention. What do you guys want to say? Oh my God, they keep catching my attention. That's an important aspect. It's kind of intriguing too, because my cousin reached out to me, and he said he was dreaming of actually deceased people of our family. It's taking me in that energy too. That's so funny. That's that energy. You're in a oneness energy, which could be. It is very beneficial. You should listen and pay attention. Keep notes of energy that you're receiving. And he's a musician. He likes music. He like making music. If I'm not mistaken, I think he do beats, and then he put his own words onto it too, which is very beneficial if you're communicating in that form of a way, because whatever you're saying, whatever beat you're coming up, it's them that's doing it. So it's really beneficial right now to put action into whatever you're receiving. It's beneficial. They know how to have you evolve, or to heal you, or to help other people. You know, that's what most artists do. when they are magicians, I should say. Artists too, but I'm thinking of music for them at the moment. Even the writer, like a lot of our artists and celebrities that we think of, they don't actually, they're not the ones that collect those words. They normally buy their lyrics off somebody else, but it's like the person who wrote those lyrics are connected to the eternal aspect, but they're able to help so many people. Like everybody loves music, you know, but it helps other people. So that's why I say it's a beneficial time right now to act on the energy that you're receiving, because they're active right now. They've been active for me all this freaking month. They always active, but they've been showing out lately in so many beautiful forms. But it's in a thankful way, because no, Halloween. Pardon me. Halloween. They showed out. They showed out. They showed out last month. This month too, but last month. Because I'm thinking about. Pardon me. Last month. But it's because all the energies was out. They all were out. They all were out, yo. They all were out. And people normally celebrate during that time, you know. They like dressing like other people, remembering deceased people and all that. They were out and about. This month they are too. And they actually are gifting people to help you ascend and evolve. That's why I said, once again, act on whatever energy you're receiving. You know, if you feel called to do something, do it. You know, it's going to help you. And even if you don't feel like it's helping you, you're going to help somebody else. It's making me think of Christmas time where people are like, oh my God, we're about to get a gift. That's how they're giving, but it's the eternal aspect doing it because they're here. You know, it's like collecting debt and giving debt, but in a growth form of a way. If that makes sense. It's like in a believing aspect. You believe it, they're going to give it to you. And you're going to notice that they gave it to you because you're going to start ascending. It's them. It's the eternal side doing it. Because they always are here. It's like, where was they at before? No, they're present. Like, it's their holiday that we just celebrate, okay? It's their holiday that we just celebrate. And I've just been happy by that, honestly. I even got sick when they first showed up, yo. Like, my nose senses went out. It came back quickly, but it went out again. Like, during COVID time, my nose sense went out. And it stayed out for a while. Which is funny, because I didn't even realize my nose senses went out until, I don't even remember, honestly, what made me realize. Oh, yes, I do. Pardon me. My son, we walked in the house, because I stayed with my ex and my son. We walked in the house, and my son was like, it smells burnt in here. And I'm like, it do? Like, I don't smell nothing. And then I proceeded on with there, whatever. And I realized I'm really not smelling nothing, you know? And it went on like that for a while. I didn't think too much of it, honestly. It's like, at the end of the day, I have realized my other senses must be better than my nose sense, because I still function and operate normal. Like, how do you get freaked out by something if you don't even know it's supposed to have a smell, you know? So it wasn't a big deal to me, honestly. But I wound up getting my senses back by a orange smell. My ex had this orange face scrub stuff, and I put it on my face, and I was like, it smelled like oranges. And I realized, oh my God, I'm smelling, you know? So the smell of oranges awoke my senses back, honestly. And that's how I want to get in my nose sense back that time. And most recently, I think it was like last month or the month before that, my nose sense went out. And I didn't know my nose sense was out until, once again, my ex, because I was already feeling sick. And he, like, catering to me in forms of, you know, you're sick, you know, let me be doctor. Let me be doctor. That's why I say I appreciate him, but I don't love him. You know, I do appreciate him because he do looks out for me. He definitely do. We could have a great friendship if, you know, he just understood my values, you know. It's hard to accept that somebody don't accept that form, yo. It's hard. It's It's my life. It's what I thrive of. It's what helped me grow, like with the world. But anyway, I had to speak on it because, like, oh my God, he seemed like such a good guy, you know. I'm not saying he's not. I mean, he's just not my guy, you know. He caused me a lot of headache and pain. That's all I'm gonna say on that for a move away. But anywho, in this aspect, he brought me the vapor rub because he wanted to rub it on my body. I'm like, no, you're not rubbing it on my body. Give it to me. That's just how I didn't even want it. I didn't want to put nothing on my body. I wasn't in the mood. I wasn't feeling good. But then I was like, you know what? Let me see that. And I went to go smell it, and I realized, oh my God, I'm not freaking smelling this. And vapor, there's no way that you're not gonna recognize that you're not smelling vapor. So I was like, oh boy, you know. But I didn't care. Once again, just like I already experienced this, you know. It's like it's not a bad thing not to be able to smell, you know. Like, but it's weird because like I love my nose sense. Like I love smell because I love smelling, you know, things that smell good. You know, I do appreciate that sense a lot. But I had realized during that aspect I was ascending. Like that's what the eternal aspect was telling me was you're ascending, and they're close. They were here, and the way that they started to identify themselves and for me to be more comfortable with is it's like being allergic to something, like a pet. Some people are allergic to certain animals and they sneeze or something around them. It's the same aspect when they are close in your vicinity. You may start having side effects like an allergic reaction because they're close. Their presence is close to you. Which I thought that was so cool when I learned that, because during that time I was sneezing a lot. I'm like, oh my God. Like, then my nose got really runny. But it was them. They were here. They were present. They always are present, but shit, they must have been my shadow or in my body. You know, to be so close in me to have side effects like I was having. But that was happening with other people too. You know, in COVID time, people was in the same aspect. But it's an ascendant energy that you have to go through. But what did I say? Certain frequencies and energies, when they come together, it does cause a certain situation. And for me, it made me have a sick side effect where I lost my nose senses and nose running and was sneezing a lot. Which I started taking cold and flu medicine for that. And it's funny because when I made the video during that time, my symptoms that I was going through, I took the day one because it's daytime, you know, take the day one. But I didn't read the freaking instructions on there, like the symptoms, you know, if you had these symptoms, take this one. I didn't have the symptoms from the AM. I had the symptoms from the PM. So I should have been taking the PM one, which the PM one do put you to sleep, but I was working off a die and be reborn energy. You know, the eternal aspect is here. You know, they need me in a rest form to be able to receive. But it was so funny because later on I realized that, like, that's what it was. I feel like that's what they were telling me. And it's just like, oh my God. It's so intriguing how sometimes certain things happen and you just want to freak out, but when you don't, later on you realize it was beneficial not to, because if I would have went to the hospital, they would have been confused. They still is. They don't know what the heck COVID is. They, you know, symptoms going out like that, oh my God, you got COVID, you know. Stay away from everybody. But it's like, it's beneficial. I am ascendant, you know. Don't give me none of them little stupid drugs. Like, you gonna slow down my process. Don't give me none of them stupid drugs. Pardon my words, you know. Pardon my words, but seriously, if you're, it's like it's coming in a mental illness form, honestly, as into people who communicate with the eternal aspect, which I want to say we all do, you know. People who go to church, what's the day? Monday? Is it Tuesday or Monday? What's the day? It's Tuesday. Okay. These weeks and months go by so quickly to me. I'll be dipping, but people who go to church, like I say yesterday, Sunday, your pastor communicates with the eternal aspect. How did he get that word to give to you if he's not communicating with the eternal aspect? That's the normal aspect, but it's like Why is he not getting drugs to relax that symptom that he going through, or she? Because you are communicating with the eternal aspect. You that message that you give me, that I actually relate to, it came through an invisible force. That's a mental illness. Why are you not using no drugs to calm that down? Because that seemed to be a big problem. But people say that's normal. But there's ones that communicate in that same form of a way, where they communicate with the invisible world, and it's looked at as a mental illness, and they are given these drugs to suppress that. But it's like, they are evolving. They probably have evolved, and they're communicating, they're doing it, they interacting with them, but somehow people look at it as a problem and they want to suppress it. But because normally they blame drugs on it, honestly, but there is a good amount of times where people do turn to drugs because they're unheard and unseen, or they just, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's not, misunderstood behavior. Like, people just like, you're crazy, you're weird. When you keep hearing that, you do stare off to suppress that in a drug form on your own. Outside of going to the doctor, you do have to turn to drinking, smoking, whatever else you do. That's dangering and backtracking to ascending, if that makes sense. But it's just because of other people and their lack of faith may have you have lack in your faith, and you just stare off in a different direction. But it's a crazy game out here, but it's not. It's just something that I just recently learned. I'm still learning about it. I haven't looked into it too much, but it was pretty much saying that the demons and Satan and things like that, it's mankind, it's us. And it's, from what I just sat there and said, it's because of the confusion. We got so much confusion that we are our own enemies. We are our own problem. It's intriguing, but it's from a lack of not knowing better. So it's so intriguing to me, honestly. I used to speak on it a lot. Definitely when I first entered into being a faith walker, spirituality, I always reference to my people in the church, because, like, y'all naturally always get all your information from the internal aspect. It's prayer time. Who are you praying to? Who are you praying to? The invisible world. Something that's there that we don't see, but is hearing us. But when I went to church and I actually told the pastor what was going on with me, he looked at me like I was crazy. Like he ain't never heard such a thing in his life. And it appalled me, honestly. I was appalled. In every form of a way, I'm not even gonna lie, I was appalled. But he also told me that, maybe I'm needed outside the church, which that actually appalled me even more. Like, whoa, now you trying to make it seem like I'm not good enough to be in here? Now you trying to make it seem like I'm not good enough to be in here? Because I was already going to what they would say a white church. Most of the people in there was white. Over time, I do see color in there, but when I first started going there, I realized there was a bunch of older white people in there. Whether that's relevant or not, it's a true statement. But over a while, I did start realizing maybe I am, even what I'm doing now and the work that I've been doing it outside the church. There's a lot of people who's afraid to go to the church because the church do judge them. It's like believers sometimes forget who they meant to help. We're not always meant to just help people that's already awakened. We are meant to help people that's unawoke also, the most, a lot of times they stick within their own aspect of people who's already awakened, and it's like you're not able to learn much as you need to if you're not helping the ones that really need it, who's unawoke, who are not in that love form, if that makes sense. And that's just what I have come to realize over time. Because I do realize people are afraid to go to church, like they know they're gonna be judged, and it's like, why? That's weird, like you come to hear a message. This ain't a fashion show. It's nice if it is, you come up looking fly or whatever, or You will show up in your pajamas like, hey, comfy dumpy, comfy dumpy, comfy wumpy it is, you know, get in here and hear this message, yo. Because that's what it is for, but the eyes can really taint in you to the fullest level, you know. My believers, they do it all the time, you know. They don't mind going home and gossiping about foolery that happened at church, where it's like, what was the word, though? You know, you worrying about what such had on, or what they were doing last week and still had the nerve to show up at church, like, you forgot the whole message and meaning of what we were supposed to be doing. And when I used to go to church, because I haven't been going, honestly, why, I don't know. I look over at them, I be saying that, you know, the parking lot looking full, you know. But I haven't went over there. The church I go to is right, like, 3 feet away from me, maybe. Not 3, but, you know, less than 3 minutes away from me. It's like right across the field. But I haven't been going, but when I was going, I would wear some extreme stuff. Like the first day, I showed up looking like a damn disco ball. I had this really shiny jacket that I got from the thrift store that I was so happy because it was gorgeous, you know, and the price was amazing. But it looked like a disco ball. I was so, that's what got it. Cause I looked like a disco ball, and I was outside a lot during that time. And I was like, you know what? When I'm outside, I'm gonna be so bright, you know, I'm almost gonna blind people because I'm so shiny. It was like, it looked like a disco ball, like a silver disco ball. It was amazing. And my first day to church, that was the most fanciest thing I had to wear. So that's what I showed up with. And my first day to church, it was intriguing. I cried and everything. It was intriguing the way that I felt my first day going. It wasn't a good form, but it was a feeling of comfort. I said, oh my God, I'm finally home, you know. But I just was crying and crying and crying, you know. But other than that, I would wear all types of stuff, you know. My workout outfits, hoodie, and some damn tights. Because, like, it's all I freaking had, you know. But I didn't care because, like, I'm showing up, yo. I want to hear the message. I want to see if you're receiving the same thing as I am. Because I know I communicate with the eternal aspect all the time. And it displays out in my life, the energy that I'm receiving do play out in my reality. I want to see if the energy that you're getting, that you receive from the eternal aspect, is the same as mine. And normally when I would go, they would be talking about me. It was the most intriguing aspect, you know. And I was like, oh my God, that's so freaking intriguing. You know, I thought it was really cool. And I would keep my bulletin because sometimes within that moment of hearing something, you totally miss it. Like, there was times where it's like I was there and I wanted to ask questions about what he was reading. It's like I couldn't do that. It's not how that church operates. It's a Catholic church. They didn't operate that way. It's like you just listen, you know. But it's like sometimes while he was talking, I didn't understand. It's like, hold on, what does that mean? Like a Bible study aspect. Like, what does that mean? Like, can you give me an example of that? Like, so I would take the bulletin home with me because I realized that they didn't keep their bulletins. They would turn it right back in. It's like, whoa, did you print all this off just for them to give it right back? No, you take that with you. Go and study that. Relook it. And that's what I used to do. And I still do have them. And I do look over them. I do go back and reference to them. And get more of a clarity on what I was receiving. Or watch how it plays out again at certain times. My mind is going. My mind is going. But it's all a true statement. They can even start doing that if they like, because they really should. I do really mean what I'm saying. I don't want people to feel like I'm getting on them, or my life is history, yo. And if you part of my history, you just part of it. It's beneficial. Life is history, you know. So I don't think nobody should ever be, oh my God, you know. It's true. You know, that's one of them sayings. It's kind of funny and intriguing at the same time. I'm trying to think of how to word it, 'cause it's in my head. But one of those, what happens in the dark comes to light. Like, you didn't think I was gonna bring that aspect back up? When you think I wasn't gonna ever cut that light on, always be on good behavior. Always have the right intentions. As to if that light was to get cut on, you're not, oh my God, I can't believe, you know. That's why me personally, I am the same in real life as I am on this social media. Like I don't just get on here and put on a certain aspect for you guys. What you see, what I give you guys is my actual self. Like I put my whole life on social media on display, and I don't mind it because it's my life. It's life. And I know that I am a reflector. I am a lighthouse. And it's just what I'm meant to do. And it is in the form where I deal with energies that's not awoken. It's nice to interact with us, awoken people already. My calling is always more in the ones that's not. And I used to not understand that. I feel like I'm just now understanding it, honestly, with me just speaking. It drives me crazy certain positions that I have to be in because that's the energy that I'm meant to translate to and for. And yes, let's evolve ones, because I do watch my other translators and things like that, and we'll all be on the same page. Or I even realize that us translators translate for each other. Like, I have to go to you to get my message. It's the most intriguing aspect that I started realizing, like, oh my God, I translate for you and you literally translate for me. That's extraordinary in every form of a way. I believe we all are like that, but it's just how I recognized it within my other my tarot community, they call it. Which I normally don't call myself a tarot reader. I'll say I'm a translator. But I am a tarot. I am a mind reader. I am an oracle. I am a psychic. I am a medium because I communicate with the eternal aspect. Like, I channel messages that I am receiving. Like, I'm a lot of things, It's just, there's so many different titles for that little one aspect, I hate to say one aspect, there's so many different to them, I'm a lot of different things. I just do enjoy saying I'm a translator, honestly. But it's kind of intriguing because I realized people have been latching on to that word. And I say if you feel the need to do it, but don't latch on to it just because, if it's not making sense to you, then it's not for you, you have a different calling of an aspect, it's kind of funny. I'm gonna wrap this up after I say this. I don't want my video to be too long. I know minds get stared off when they get too long, but I recently just made a video that was 2 hours long, yo. It blew my mind because I get drained quickly when I'm recording. But I was able to watch the whole thing without getting tired. Like, I really enjoyed the interaction conversation where it wasn't like, oh, I'm drained, I'm gonna come back and watch it later. Like, it was so good. I wanted to hear what I was gonna say next, and I feel like if it's the right energy, the right alignment, you will feel the same way, honestly. Where it's like, oh my God, you still, like, you're gonna be upset that it was just 2 hours. That's how I feel like the right alignment would be. I kind of forgot what I was saying, so I'm probably about to wrap it up with just that. I wanted to say something else, but I can't remember what the heck it was. I really don't remember what I was saying. Or about to say I want to say something else to you guys. What was it? I really don't remember, so remember, guys, be kind. You are a reflection.